I swear, man. Freaking advertisements and stuff. Yeah. I'm still sort of setting up. I'm trying to get more people into the chat. Hopefully they come along. You're hearing the voice of Marie Shadows here. This will probably be a an actual podcast episode. We're just gonna have fun. We're gonna keep it in kayfabe, and we're definitely going to be going over everything that we know so far in this Bullet Club drama and stuff like that. I do want to thank Randy for being in the chat. He's been super awesome. So, thanks for coming by. We're going to get started soon because, there's no point for me to wait until the freaking Spotify ads go and then I play the music again. So we're going to go in a little bit. Just telling people, whoever wants to come by can come by. It's a Saturday. It's the weekend. I should say happy weekend to everybody and stuff like that. So, yeah, let me just make sure that it's out once more. Everything looks good. Yeah. Okay. I have no problem always telling people, hey, come by, if I have to sell myself out to be like, hey, come by my Twitch, come by my Twitch, we could always do that. And plus anyway, it's 5:30 over here. People are just waking up over in Japan in a way. So yeah. They know about it. Oh, that's awesome, Randy. You can do that too. That's great. Reddit knows, by the way, I am a little famous on Reddit, which is kind of interesting. Very interesting. All right, let me switch things over so that way you guys can see my prettiness. All right. See, I should have transitioned right into, my beginning stuff. So let me go and do that right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Square Circle Podcast. I am your host, Marie Shadows, and on this episode of the Square Circle Podcast, yes, it is live. It is live on Twitch and YouTube. If you guys are not following my Twitch and YouTube, you guys should. A follow will help me out. A subscription over on YouTube would definitely help me out. So the easiest way for you guys to do that is to head over to www.twitch.com. See, always during the live streams, I fuck up somehow. I always fuck up somehow. Twitch.tv/Marie_Shadows. Always fuck up somehow. Twitch.tv/Marie_Shadows. Now, over for the subscription side for YouTube is definitely youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. Which again, if you guys are watching this live, I highly thank you for tuning in to watch me and hear me talk about wrestling and how it relates to writing and how this whole Bullet Club drama that's happening can definitely be fit into a novel. We're only at the beginning stages of it, and then I'll try to break it down as best as I can to let you guys know what will be considered the parts of a novel for this. But let me not get too ahead of myself. I do think that it's amazing that people on here actually helped me reach 3 out of the 4 to reach Twitch affiliate, to try to reach Twitch affiliate. The only thing that I am missing is basically average viewers, which I just need 3 average viewers. To be honest, it's been going up and down between 1.4, maybe 2.1 or something. But other than that, what can I say? Yeah. So essentially, that's the only thing that I need. I do want to thank everybody that has decided to follow the Twitch channel. We are currently up to 52 followers. And the next goal is to hit 75. Is it to hit 75 people? Oh, I guess not. I was thinking that in order to reach partner, I would have to get like 75 followers, but it's 75 viewers, which is a little bit different. But I do want to thank everybody that has decided to follow the Twitch channel. It means a lot to me. It really does. To have 52 followers, our goal would be 75, and we could get there, cool, no rush. The only thing that I want to do is try to get at least an average for 3 viewers, and that's not me, like, I'm encouraging it. I am encouraging it, but other than that, like, I'm not telling you or anything that people want to think bad. All right, so as long as you guys, follow me when you're listening to this after the fact, that'd be great too. So let's see. Let's talk about the stuff that really brings you here and this here we talk, right? So we're not going to get ahead to what's been happening currently because there's a lot to unpack. But as you know, I love saying that I have a writing degree and I have a publishing certificate, which is all true. And sometimes when I go on Twitter and I'm like, hey, AEW, for example, needs a writer's room, I always get hit with some type of not really backlash. I wouldn't call it backlash. I would call it like resistance. I will get hit with resistance. And so that's just, I guess, part of the nature, just because people have this notion that WWE fucked things up, right? And I can definitely agree that, yeah, when it came to what it meant to be a writer in professional wrestling, that was like the standard, because like no one else really had writers per se. No one had like a showrunner to also kind of direct where the show wants to go, where the characters want to go and stuff. So I can understand why people will be a little resistant, but I am here to change your perception of like what it means to be a writer, because I personally think that my job as a writer is to guide the character, to make sure that the character, because everything is in kayfabe, even if people on Twitter are like, oh, I know this person's personal life and like all these things that they do, and it's like, yeah, probably you shouldn't know all their personal life, just because that's a little creepy, a little stalkery, unless like you're like best friends with them or starting to become actual friends where you hang out and it's not just behind a phone screen, So me as a writer, I would definitely keep everything kayfabe. Your character does what your character is supposed to do in order to tell this wonderful story that, you're a wrestler in the business and you go from point A to point B all the way to like point Z. So that way, you at the end of the road, you're getting a championship title, right? Because it's all about, the chase. It's all about the drama. It's all about the entertainment. You can have a perfect wrestling match, but if there's no like in-ring story, in-ring psychology, then what's the point of you being on this journey as this character that you're playing? A lot of wrestlers out there will be like, well, I'm playing myself, which is cool, but if you cannot like connect with the audience in some aspect, right, then you're sort of failing. Because me as a fan, I'm going to a wrestling event to watch you for 2 hours. Well, you and the rest of your colleagues for like 2 hours, maybe 3 at best. And I want to escape the bullshit that's going on in my reality. And I want to be transported into your reality, into your parallel universe. So that way I can feel like I had a good 3 hours. And I could go home on the drive home and be like, that was the best thing ever. I met my favorite wrestlers. I got pictures with them. They told amazing stories. And somehow, some way, we kind of connected because, we may have the same taste in the book genres that we read, or the video games that we play, or, maybe some hobby that like no one else has. Like, you have to find that sort of creativeness and that sort of spark that can connect you with the fans. It's okay to play yourself, it really is, but sometimes playing a character is a little bit better just because you're able to tell more stories and try to, be a little bit more flexible in something that your character would do, but not necessarily you would do. However, with the way that Twitter is very close-minded when it comes to being something more in wrestling and trying something like on the edge. If it doesn't agree with them and their morals, it's kind of hard to try to break out of that, and I think that sometimes people in the wrestling community sort of like stifle wrestlers, and this is why we have a bunch of wrestlers with like actual first and last names, and not like, back in the day when we had like Doink the Clown, and we had, I don't know why I want to say like uh I'm gonna say it wrong. Like Duke the Dumpster Brosy. I probably said it wrong. But like, we don't have very much larger than life characters. But then again, like actual first and last names, can work. But you're gonna have to give yourself a moniker because, like, it's very boring to just say, this person's first and last name that comes out when you are basically introducing them, announcing them, and stuff. So, it's sort of like I sort of miss the days of larger than life characters. I could have said The Undertaker. Undertaker is one, Kane, you know, uh, just larger than life characters where you refer to them as their name, that's not like their real name, if that makes any sense. So yeah. The thing is that I wanted to sort of open this up with like the importance of getting a character, the importance of what it means to like be a different type of writer in this business, just so that way we could keep things moving along. So like another thing that my position will probably do is just to make sure that, oh yeah, Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, that's another example too. I don't know why I can't think of like the larger than life characters. Coco Beware was definitely a larger than life character. We had like a lot of larger than life characters and you believe them, back then it was more like kayfabe is everything rather than like now where, Twitter is on the hunt for the next scandal and Twitter is on the hunt for the next like personal thing. And it's like, you guys don't need to go into their personal lives. If the wrestler wants to share their personal life with you and to the public, that's their own thing and they have to deal with that. But don't go searching just because, you want to be first, and I don't want to get into that topic because wrestling media loves to be first for everything. And then when they're wrong, they don't apologize. Which, by the way, quick thing out there, I don't understand how you guys can pay $5 to like $13 a month for lies when you can have fun with me and other content creators that I love to put over, that I've been on other people's shows and I have collaborated with other people that make amazing oops, hold on. That's great. This is a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. Man, give me a second. My camera went out. This is not a rage quit, so don't think it is. Why is it not? Okay, I hate this. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep talking. You guys gonna see me here. Sometimes I can't multitask. Wow, it doesn't even want to. Don't tell me I have to close out my OBS. I don't think I have to. I don't think I have to. I really hope I don't. But yeah, like I was saying, that I don't know how people can. That's Discord. I hate this. Oh man. It's always like if you touch one little thing, um if you touch one little thing, that's it. It's like I don't have another one on the other side. Okay, I am all right. I'm back. So I figured out how to bring my camera back. I guess I did not need to restart everything because I thought that was gonna be it. But no, I guess because I said um because I told the thing that Discord can access it, that it goes. Yeah, that's very interesting. So yeah, let me try my rant once again. So for anybody that's just coming back in, I had a little technical difficulties and I was in the middle of ranting about wrestling media and how I don't understand the internet wrestling community can pay $5 to like $13 for lies while you have myself and other podcasters out there that are putting out wonderful work, that are putting out original work, and we have to work 10 times as harder to try to keep up with the demand of creating wrestling content. I do not believe that wrestling news is actual content, because if all you're going to be doing is, you know, sending out emails and text messages and just waiting for stuff back, like, that's not content. Content is doing this 24/7, can wake up and start a live stream, watch wrestling, review it, make podcast episodes, explain, storylines, maybe explain a little bit about, like, maybe the wrestler should be acting this way or that way, but then again, it's not my place to really tell how a wrestler should act. But in the course of like a story, like, just tweaks and stuff like that, I guess I could say that. But that's a lot of hard work. And also, creating articles and, in-depth, really think articles, I guess if you want to call them that. So, I just don't think waiting around for an email from like WWE or your sources to be like, hey, can you confirm this or confirm that? And it's like, oh, I want to be first. I want to break the news to like everybody. And it's like, well, there's other people who want to live in kayfabe, and there's other people that don't want to anger wrestlers when lies come out about them, and then there's no like backtrack or there's no apologies or anything like that. So, yeah, that's how I felt about it. That's what I was gonna rant about. It's just that, I have um my coffee page, which, you guys can definitely go and support over there. Coffee makes it easy for people because it's not a commitment. Okay, it's not like Patreon. Patreon is definitely a commitment, but with coffee, you have the option to just, leave me a $3 tip and then, just leave. Think of it like a one night stand, guys. Like, you come in, you're like, oh, cool, I like Marie Shadow's, body of work. That's awesome. Let me throw down some like $3 or $4, and then bam, you could go right back out the door. There is no commitment like it is for a Patreon. So, get on that coffee trend. Head over to ko-fi.com /Marie_shadows, because there's a lot of work over there that takes time and effort, and I'm not waiting for my phone to ring for like my source to be like, "Hey, let's drop this news or let's confirm this." I kind of, I can't say I kind of. I do respect the wrestlers' privacy and like anything like that. So that's why, I keep it all kayfabe on my channel, no matter what. But yeah, that was gonna be my rant before, the freaking webcam decided to be like, yeah, I'm not working anymore because I lightly like nudged it. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand, which is definitely New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, as you know, New Japan Pro Wrestling has started the New Japan Cup. It started on March 2nd. We are currently I don't even know what day we're on, but I know we're on the 12th. So let's see. They had the 2nd, and I believe the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. Oh, probably not. So maybe we're on like one, two, three, four, five, six. Maybe this is night 6. I don't know. Sometimes it gets so blurry together that I'm just like, I don't know what night this is. But so far, it has it's in the 3rd round next. Yeah. But and like, people like to break it up into days. But yeah. So far, I think all of my picks have like went through, because the first time that I did New Japan Cup, nothing happened, nothing went through. I think that was in 20, because that was when Jay White was there, and I was like, oh, Jay White is gonna win in the New Japan Cup, and then no, he got stopped by David Finlay. So yeah, which by the way, that video has like 900 views for that one, because that video was fun to do, especially the thumbnail. The thumbnail was really fun for that matchup. Um, I'm going over to my notes. I didn't really take notes for like this past one that just aired, just because it's all up in my head. Um, but I guess we can start with the most important thing is that for March 10th, when we had okay, so I guess we should go through Chase Owens' notes, because there's a lot of stuff to unpack there. Because I don't really want to start from like all the way from like the beginning of New Japan Cup. There's like specific story elements that I wanted to do. Just because of like, Chase said a lot, which needs to be unpacked, and then the main event of Fale versus Tanahashi, I felt like Fale should have won that for story reasons, and then we could talk about how that sort of weaves into the interview that Tama had with New Japan Pro Wrestling, which was amazing. You guys should read the article. New Japan likes doing this thing where they put out like a mini video package of like the interview that they do, and then they have like the long form where it's written, and I'm like, just give me the whole entire thing, man. I don't mind reading it. Like I read it and I was like, oh man, this is gonna get great. And then I was reading some past interviews that Fale was doing, and he was talking about like, the whole Bullet Club thing. This is like 2018 interviews I'm talking about. He hasn't done anything new or recent as of like we know. All right, so let's just start, right? Because I guess this is the big elephant in the room that with Chase saying all this kind of stuff. So for March 10th, Kevin Kelly needed a special guest, and he went to go get Chase, which was very nice. It was something different. I always enjoy Kevin Kelly on commentary, and I enjoy Chris Charlton on commentary too. And those two are like both of my inspirations and sort of like motivations to continue to do like my practice commentary, which I still have. And maybe one day on the live stream, I'll do commentary for you guys. Like, let's see how that goes. Um, just because I want to do more and help more in the business. So just practicing that. So while Chase was on commentary, Kevin asked him those questions, because we all have questions like, what is happening, the state of Bullet Club and stuff. So, Chase had mentioned that he follows Fale wherever Fale goes. He follows them. He follows him. Cool. Awesome. That's the same way of like all the islanders of Tama's Island. Like we follow Tama where he goes. You know. So if Fale is on Team J, that makes Chase on Team J, which is like interesting. Interesting. Um, and then Chase mentions that he's fine with the House of Torture, If the House of Torture makes money, then he makes money, which is, I guess, kind of true. I do want to say that after this New Japan Cup, that the House of Torture needs to be away from Bullet Club and be its own thing, because obviously you can see that they don't need the legs of Bullet Club to sort of give them more help, more of a push. Like, they really don't need that. So I think at the end of New Japan Cup, they should definitely, like, separate themselves. They could definitely stand on their own, and I would like it better if they're just this unit by themselves, just to give another team, just because of, like, I don't know. There's a lot of teams in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I don't think House of Torture needs Bullet Club anymore. Um, so here's where it gets interesting, right? So in story, in kayfabe, because I really don't want no one coming after me and shit, telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. In story, in kayfabe, Chase blames Tama for all of this, and I'm like, I could see where Tama could get a little heated. Tama tends to wear his emotions on his sleeve and tends to do things that may be questionable in quick thinking. So you could think of it like, he attacks first and asks questions later. That's the type of character that Tama has. But the flip side of that is that, Tama will take care of you. Tama will bring you in as long as you're able to show why your Bullet Club material, to show why, you're the wrestler that you are, and, I guess, like, treat you like family when he does. I don't think that he leaves you I don't think he leaves you out to dry. But I do think that, he can't always hold the person's hand. That's not what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. But there's this dual nature within Tama that, like, you have to uh I lost the words. Okay, this is like dual nature that you're gonna have to realize that Tama has. You don't if you don't fuck him over, he's not gonna fuck you over, right? That's how I like you know figure it out, because it's the same way with me and my personality. Like, if you don't push me to that line, then we're good. We're not gonna, like, go blow to blow, if that makes sense. So Randy says, I have concerns for Chase's choice, as he may need Tama later on. What if Jay does not want Chase part of his plans, or turns on Chase? Uh, Chase may end up caught in the crossfire. Uh, yeah, I can see that, but by Chase bringing up July 7th, 2018, right? It's 2018. Yes. By Chase bringing up July 7th, 2018, I think he already made it clear in his mind that he's going to be basically following Fale wherever he goes. And Fale might, like, swerve us. He might. I don't know. Um, but because of what happened on July 7th, 2018, which I had to do research for, um, I think it's petty, just because. So, Randy, do you know what happened on July 7th, 2018? Oh, yes, and by the way, this is live, so those hearing it on the podcast, Randy's in the chat, and Randy's been super cool. So, yeah, just to reiterate that. Um, yeah, July 7th, 2018 is an important date for Chase. So I'm just wondering if you remember what happened on that day. And if any I mean, I'm gonna probably tell you anyway. Uh all right. So while Randy's looking that up, because that is an important like factor into this as to why he's siding with Fale slash J is because on July 7th, right? And for some reason, I remember this differently than he does, so this is why I had to like go back and watch it. So if you guys have New Japan World, the subscription, you're able to go back and watch this particular event, which is basically the Cow Palace in San Francisco. It was the G1 there, and so when you watch the main event of Kenny Omega versus Cody Rhodes, right? This was during the first Bullet Club Civil War, which I remember that I didn't like it. Looking back at it, I didn't like it. During that time, I was Team Kenny Omega. Fuck Cody. So we had the main event. Kenny Omega won. Kenny Omega said his words and stuff, and then you had Tama come out, you had Loa come out, and also King Haku. And, they're there celebrating with the elite, and then all of a sudden, Tama attacks Kenny, everyone attacks everyone, bring them to the ring, and then, like, Hangman comes out, Marty comes out, um, even Chase and Yujiro come out during that time to sort of calm down what we now know as the firing squad, which is Haku, Loa, and Tama. And so even the friendship that you know they had with Chase and Yujiro trying to calm everything down, Tama just decided to have something click and decided to do a cutter onto Chase. Before that, Loa basically did a back body drop to Udro, and then Tama hit the cutter on no, the Tonga twist. Sorry, Tama hit the Tonga twist on Chase and basically screamed at him, "Whose side are you on?" So from that time all the way to now, he kept that inside, and then someone within Bullet Club who has actual balls to go against Tama, meaning Jay White, um, Jay White decided to basically stab Tama in the back. Chase is using July 7th, 2018 as his reason for siding with Jay rather than siding with Tama. However, I say that that's a petty thing only because Tama did it once. I can understand if like Tama did it again on the next like show where he just randomly came up during your match or after your match to do like another Tonga twist or maybe a cutter or something, or stop you from achieving a championship title. But because it was only one time, and this is going to be the catalyst for the decision making going forward, it's fucking petty. Because if you guys were like men in the Bullet Club, you guys would definitely go up to each other and be like, "Hey, why did you do the tongue and twist? Like, these are my friends too. Like, why can't we all just get along?" Like before, well, I'm not gonna say before. This is after, because Loa after that was like everybody is equal in the Bullet Club, and then they kicked out the elite and everything. But it's the fact of you sometimes just don't like, why do I want to say go into business for yourself? He didn't go into business for himself. Like Chase showed up on like a few BTE episodes, especially when during that time the Elite plus Chase went to that one hot topic, and basically they got like everybody there and they all like shopping and stuff. So there's that one being the elite episode, and I think like Chase was on a couple of them. Tama was on like only one as like a cameo when he jumps down and he says, "Hey, I really like those guys." Talking about the elite and stuff. So there's a difference in like, Chase was hanging out with them while Tama is like on the other side doing stuff related to Bullet Club, trying to build up Bullet Club over there, and then he could see it as like him, like Chase having fun, and then to do the tongue and twist to Chase and stuff like that, and left the American side over. But the biggest thing is that to remember is that the firing squad at the time only kicked out the elite. So that means that, Chase and Usual were just casualties in this whole kicking out the elite and Cody. Because if that was the case, then, Chase would have been gone, Usual would have been gone if, like, they felt it was necessary. But this is just casualties. But like I said, if they were like actual real men to talk it out, maybe apologies would have been there, and then the thought process would have been you're just casualties. That's it. Um, yeah. So Randy says, seems like a long time ago, but Tama does tough love for Bullet Club. Yeah, you could definitely tell that he does a lot of tough love for a lot of things. Like I said, he likes, I can't say he likes to. He probably does like to. He likes to wear his emotions on his sleeve. That's the one thing about Tama, is that like he doesn't hide certain emotions. He basically he does what's best for Bullet Club, to the best of his ability and how much he could go. So yeah, that's a very important date. And it's very telling. So July 7th, 2018, at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Um, which, by the way that I remember it, I really don't remember Chase and Usual being there. That's why I had to go like research it and look it up, because I only remember the aftermath a little bit, and then on the Being the Elite episode, which is episode 110. So if you guys want to go back into the archives, episode 110 is where you'll see at the end where like everybody, the elite is all in the hotel room, they're all eating. Here comes a knock, in comes Cody. Cody starts eating with them, and then Cody says, so how we're gonna get back at them? And everybody just shrugs. And then Cody says, man, what's Haku's problem? Which, by the way, is pretty funny in itself. But yeah, after all that, they didn't go after Tama. I mean, they probably should have, if they felt so strongly. I mean, Cody felt strongly about it. But yeah, that is a very telling date. And then when Chase also puts the blame on Tama, he said during commentary that whenever something goes down, there's always this tension between either Tama and Evil, Tama and Jay, and I think those were the only two. My brain is like he probably said a third one, but I don't know who he said a third one about. So in Chase's mind, he's probably like, Tama is the common denominator of the troublemaker, and it's like, you know, looking on the outside, you might think that he could be a troublemaker just because he has that tough love to make sure that everybody is up to a certain standard of Bullet Club. Like, they don't let just anybody into Bullet Club. Like, you have to have that certain standard, that certain mindset where it's like, you want to break all the rules just because, no one's really going to give you the time of day, or even like accept you, or look at you, or whatever the case may be. But there's a certain mentality that you need to have in order to be part of Bullet Club. If you don't have that, they're not just going to accept anybody. I mean, we could probably say that they accepted Robbie Egos as anybody, just because I'm just like, I don't know how he fits. But it's a good thing Robbie Egos is not with Bullet Club, and he's long gone. So yeah, but to just blame Tama for trying to instill a certain standard that was left upon them since Prince Devitt was the one that like created Bullet Club. So it's like, you just can't blame it on one person, you know? What else here do I have in my notes? Okay, so that was all of his stuff. Um, Randy says Chase was noting that most of the problems in Bullet Club centers around Tama. Yeah, that's exactly yeah. Um, Also, I believe in 2017 G1 New Japan Pro Wrestling almost fired Tama for actions during the match. Gino pushed Eagles to be part of the Bullet Club. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, okay. So you mean the 2018 G1? That's the one we're talking about. Well, I mean, they didn't fire him, even though they were probably thinking of it, probably pushing it. Well, I mean, you go and attack somebody like that, yeah, you sort of like have grounds for like, yo, what are you doing? Okay, so I didn't know that Gino was pushing for egos, which, it's like, all right, cool. It's a good thing that you're not like with Bullet Club anymore, because the drama and everything. Um, but yeah, so that's like the research that I had to do to make sure that I'm able to give you guys like the facts and kayfabe or anything like that. I did find it kind of like egotistical that Chase would just blurt out how much money he's making, and even if you're making that much money, that could be gone in an instant, because they could just take it from you while you're out here like, I'm gonna go side with Fale, because wherever Fale goes I go, and then Fale is, you know uh have him go to the top. But Chase won a trophy. I'm still waiting for him to win like a championship title. But yeah, that's just me. Oh, okay, okay. So Randy says, nope, in 2017, Tama was disqualified several times. Oh, lots of heat between Tama and New Japan office then. Oh, okay, okay, that one. All right, so I heard rumblings about that. Um, but I don't think that has anything to do with what's like currently happening and the story that's unfolding. I do think that Tama has decided to not do anything stupid anymore. So that way, he obviously still has his job, right? I mean, because Bullet Club's whole mantra is basically like going against New Japan management and all that kind of stuff. So you know, it makes sense, but now he's sort of like uh you care correct on that. The great what? um but yeah, this is a different Tama that we're seeing. It's very, very different. But okay, I am correct on that. Okay, cool. It's a very different Tama, but Chase's story on commentary is very telling. There's a lot to really unpack and really like, put up, strings for like conspiracy stuff. But July 7th, 2018 is the biggest tell for why he, would side with Fale, and then if Fale sides with Jay, that's what it is. Which I think is kind of interesting that Fale has yet to say anything, because, um, even though Tama puts somebody as the face of a big group like Bullet Club, that doesn't technically mean that, you're the leader. You're given the role as playing the face, while, Tama in the background is doing things for Bullet Club and actually guiding and leading, and you're just there to present, face. I don't think that should give him the power to sort of, you know, kick him out and decide that, Tama and Loa are no longer part of Bullet Club and that they were always dead weight. Well, Jay could definitely say that they were dead weight, because that's his opinion. But to like physically, I guess physically at this point, kick them out, and Fale doesn't do anything about it because Fale is now the last original OG of Bullet Club. That's a little something. And I know that they're not supposed to give us everything, right? Um I know they're not supposed to give us everything when it comes to storytelling, and this is going to be dragged out. I totally get that. But there are certain things that need to be established. There are very certain things that need to be established, especially, you know, choosing sides, and then also, you know, the questioning of choosing the sides. Because obviously it just seems like Gato came in along with Fale and you know, asked um El Phantasmo, Chase and Jado, like, you know, which side are they on? And, you know, no one questioned it. And just because, you know, Fale is there, like, shouldn't mean that that should scare them into, like, questioning things. Like, how are you ever going to grow as a person and as a story and as a group if you're not questioning the one person that declared themselves a leader when they shouldn't be declaring themselves a leader? Like, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. And then to not question Gato of like, hey, you know, did you know that the Good Brothers are gonna like be coming back into the Bullet Club? Like, you know, is that a thing? Or even like, even questioning that to Fale, like, hey, did you know that this was happening? Um, but yes, Randy is completely right. New Japan does the long game with storylines, and that's what I love. I just think that with this particular type of storyline, a little bit more needs to be given because we're left with more questions than answers. Um, but you know, you need a little bit more so that way fans can be you know, attracted to it, and fans can definitely be like, hey, you know, let me pay attention to the storyline. You know, for example, every single week, right? We all see on Twitter that people complain about, you know, WWE. Yes, this is going to be a New Japan podcast episode, but I'm giving you guys examples to like get my point across. You know, every single week, people watch WWE, and what they do, they complain about it. Yesterday was SmackDown, and apparently Pete Dunne made his main roster debut, and they call him Butch. And all I see on the timeline is people screaming at WWE about the name change. And it's like, you know, first of all, just look at the way he dresses and look at who he associates with. Obviously, like, it makes sense to like call him Butch, even though that's probably like the worst name to call him. But for the sake of like, you know, what they wanted to do, you know, it works for what they wanted to do, but people complain about it, right? So, you know, back to the point of like New Japan Pro Wrestling, if they gave us a little bit more info, a little bit more story bites, and have myself and other people out there who cover New Japan Pro Wrestling to talk about it and get buzz behind it. You know, maybe a fan who's fed up with WWE or a fan who's fed up with AEW will want to come into the New Japan circle and be like, "Ooh, what is this? Teach me, you know, everything that you know." That's why I think it was very important to have Chase at commentary to, you know, give us that little bit more of information as to like why he decided to go with Fale and what's his reasoning behind it, and then like giving us the date of July 7th, 2018, and then, you know, explaining why, you know, he blames Tama for all of this. So you know, that's what it is. I just think that, you know, the more that we talk about it, the more that we have answers. We could then do speculations and stuff. I'm just trying to get the point across of, you know, if we had a little bit, if we have a little bit more, which we are gonna probably get more after Sunday when we see Tama versus Evil. We'll get a little bit more insight. But in the beginning, it should have been a little bit more because all we have is more questions and stuff like that. But I hope you guys get that idea that I threw out there. Like, you know, if we had a little bit more to say, maybe more people will come in and, you know, be interested in New Japan Pro Wrestling if they get like fed up with, you know, WWE and like AEW and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's Chase's bit to like dissect. Now let's get to the main event of March 10th, which was Fale versus Tanahashi. Okay, I love Tanahashi. I really do. Tanahashi is an amazing performer. He is definitely a once in a lifetime, uh, once in a century performer too. However, ooh, excuse me. However, they're wording it right because I don't really know how they're wording it, but um, you know, I think that Fale should have won against Tana. I understand why Tanahashi won. He won because he's still the light. He's still the hope in this COVID situation over there in Japan. So I get why he won. However, when you're dealing with a huge ass story like this, you can't miss an important piece of something that needed to happen. If this wasn't happening, then it's okay. Fale didn't need to advance, but because we have this specific Bullet Club drama where everyone is almost silent except for Jay and Tama, we need a little bit more. We need a little bit more people talking, especially a lot more people questioning of like, hey, what is really gonna like go down? I don't know. I'm in that mood of like, you guys remember the really fun game Among Us? And everybody would hit the emergency button. We need that for fucking Bullet Club right now. We need to hit the emergency button and like talk all this shit out. Like it's really ridiculous. But uh so I think that Fale should have won, right? Because my whole thing, like if you've been watching the channel and if you have see See, Randy's completely right. Randy is completely right. So Randy says Folly winning would have justified Chase's comments more, but his loss now casts doubts. It really does. And then you're starting to think that maybe there's going to be a swerve when it comes to at the time, whenever we get there, this might end up like going all the way to May because in May that's when the Bullet Club was made. So in May it'll be 9 years of Bullet Club, man. Um, but yeah, it absolutely does. And I think that's where they missed the important part. Like, I get it. Tanahashi is your guy, the same way that Okada is your guy in New Japan. But you can't put you can't put a stop or slow the momentum down on this Bullet Club drama because then, it's like, what's the point? Fale should have won and went on to the next round. And this probably should have been like story driven. When I say this, I mean the New Japan Cup. I think the New Japan Cup should have been story driven because not we, because they decided to start this Bullet Club drama now, right? Okay, so if you've been following my channel for a while, even my podcast episodes and stuff like that, I did a whole breakdown of all of my picks of like who I want to win the New Japan Cup and why, and it's all story based. So I would have loved if Fale would have been in the finals with Tama, right? Somehow Okada gets eliminated because like I really don't think it's proper for a champion to be at the finals when if Okada won, is he going to challenge himself for the title? Like this is what didn't make any sense for having the champions in the New Japan Cup when they could have like, not be there or whatever. But yeah, I just thought of that now. Like imagine if Okada won the New Japan Cup, like is he going to really challenge himself for the belt? Like that sounds really stupid coming out of my mouth. Anyway, so I had fantasy booked Fale versus Tama in the finals because if you guys read that interview of that Tama did with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think he did with Chris Charlton, So props to Chris for that. Tama really says that, he honestly doesn't know what's happening, in the sense of he doesn't know if he's still Bullet Club. He doesn't know, the next step. He's figuring it out as we go along. And so, that's cool. That's great. I think that whenever you're presented to be in front of Fale just feels like the guy who's the final boss. Um, yeah. Uh, Fale feels like the final boss in your journey. In order for you to either like pass a test or pass his recommendation or something like that. Like, and I think that comes with me watching New Japan Pro Wrestling's Lions Roar documentary series. So, like, Fale just has that presence about him where it's like you don't want to fuck with him, you don't want to push his buttons, you want to make sure that everything that you do has like heart and soul and ambition towards it. And even if you maybe give up, there's like some chance of, you know some type of redemption, right? Like he just has that. So I would think um that Fale uh versus Tama would have been a great storytelling element, because now that Tama is floating around, out of Bullet Club, the same thing with Loa. Um, if he would have fought Fale, it would have been like his final test to see if he's really truly Bullet Club material, right? Which, by the way, we all know that Tama is like true Bullet Club material. Or if everything that everyone is saying in the background is completely true about Tama, that like he's a troublemaker, he always starts shit, he wears his emotions on his sleeve and stuff. So like I would think that if Fale got to the finals, and Tama were to meet him there, that would be Tama's final test to see what happens. And then from there, they can definitely be like, once Tama wins the New Japan Cup, he can challenge Okada, and imagine if they give him the belt. And then that will like infuriate Jay White more, and it's just gonna break down. It's gonna break down, and I think that's sort of where New Japan sort of fucked up by having Fale lose to Tanahashi on March 10th in the New Japan Cup. I'm a sucker for stories, really good storytelling, and I think that that would be a very strong way to present the drama that's happening, because I just don't want it to be like how it felt the first time Bullet Club decided to um, be in this Civil War bullshit. Because again, like looking back at Cody versus Kenny, Cody Rhodes did not need Bullet Club at all. Like I don't understand why he was fucking there in the first place. Cody Rhodes has all the potential in the world. He has the legacy of his fucking name, and then decided to be part of Bullet Club, to be part of, the elite, and then break it up. And then, it was getting a little too much. And, the firing squad wanted to bring it back down. But looking back at it, that was like the really stupidest first like Civil War. This one, I'm a little bit more happier about, just because it's different. It feels different. When Jay did the Blade Runner to Tama, that shit hit different. That shit hit different in my heart, because I enjoy both of their work. I, praise both of them. And, to have that done to like family really hurt. So it's like this one's a little bit more better. Because we have two good storytellers that will definitely give us one hell of a ride. And I could definitely say from experience that Tama is a super smart man, and he's very passionate about this business no matter what. Um he he really does love what he does and how he entertains us, and you know we're gonna be along for this crazy ass ride. And this is the hottest story going in professional wrestling. Aside from this, it's whatever WWE is doing with Roman and Brock and all of that, and then whatever AEW is doing. But this storyline right here, the Bullet Club storyline, is uh hold on. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But yeah, the Bullet Club storyline is the hottest storyline going today, and it's really, really like something you guys should definitely um check out and definitely like follow me. You can definitely follow the Square Circle podcast and Marie Shadows. You can follow everything here because I will give you guys updates and we talk about this. And Randy will come in and like help me out to be like, well, this happened this way and stuff like that. So yeah, you know. So speaking of Randy, Randy puts in chat, maybe Chase advances and then somehow needs to confirm his choice. Will be interesting how it all plays out, but let's remember when Gato and Jay betrayed Chaos and Okada. Okay, cool. I'm gonna dive into that, right? So the way that Jay and Gato decided to betray Okada, that was a little bit different than like how this betrayal with Tama happened. Only because Jay kept telling Okada that he was gonna do it. You know, he did not make it seem like, oh, I'm never gonna do it, or he never mentioned it. Like with Okada, Jay was straightforward. He was like, "You have something, I want it. I'm gonna take it from you, and you know I'm gonna do it." And that's exactly what Jay did. Jay did not hide anything. This, if we want to compare this to like what he did with Tama, that is like two different things. But like I could see where you're going with this because we could definitely say that Tama, should have had eyes in the back of his head and should have sort of like realized that even though he betrayed Okada back in the day, one day he might end up betraying Bullet Club because sometimes I feel like when he hasn't gotten enough satisfaction from something, he cuts it out of his life and like continues to move on and use that as a stepping stone for him to definitely get better, or definitely get his name out there more. So him taking out Okada was basically him doing it in front of Okada's face, but Okada was just like, nah, it's fine. Okada has that freaking chip on his shoulder where he doesn't take anybody seriously but himself. The same way that he didn't take Tama seriously, and Tama has a victory over Okada, and Tama just overlooked uh I'm sorry, Okada overlooked Tama when they had their match at the G1 and Tama won, and then at Power Struggle, Okada managed to right that wrong. It's the same way of how Okada looked at Jay. Okada overlooked Jay. So he did not care if Jay was saying straight to his face, I'm going to take that title from you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to destroy Chaos. I'm going to do all this shit. Okada didn't care. That's because of that freaking chip on his shoulder and overlooking guys. Now, when it comes to Chase advancing, right? I said this. I said multiple times on this podcast explaining my decisions that hold up, I need to bring it up. I wish that hold on. What's what's this? Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Um nope. Is it this? Nope. I have so many images here that I like, do I have it here? Ah, okay. So it is okay. So I'm gonna bring in a picture because I did say that Chase is gonna be advancing over Tiger Mask. I think that's who he's fighting. Um this is okay. I have no idea if you guys are gonna be able to see this. Okay. All right, I'm gonna block me for a second, right? Um, Let me know if you guys can like see it good, because I don't know. Um, Let me see. Um, I will read Randy's comments in a second. But yeah, let me see if this looks. All right, you can see it. All right, cool. Cause all right. So I have. You know what? I gotta bring it up um on my thing because I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. Because I already memorized this whole shit of like what kind of storytelling we should be doing. When I say we, I mean they, what they should be doing. Just because I'm so invested in this, because it's the this is what makes me happy, because it combines my storytelling ability and just thinking through problems. And by the way, the reason why professional wrestling needs, hold on, I'm saying this while like I have this up. Um the reason why professional wrestling needs writers is because not only are we readers, but we are critical thinkers that can help you think outside the box to know where a story should go next and why the story should go next. If you ever want to hang out with me and pick my brain, it's because of, me thinking about this on a deeper level, because I love the characters, I love the story. There is a lot of inner conflict that these guys are having, but the only person that is projecting their inner conflict is El Phantasmo, which, by the way, we'll get to him soon too. But I mean, Chase. I mean, we could say Chase is like projecting his inner conflict, but it's not as heavy as El Phantasmo. So this is why professional wrestling needs writers to guide really deep stories like this and try to make sure that everything is either unraveled or all the loose ends are tied up, and then like there's many layers to the story. It's like when you read a good novel, you're like, oh my god, I can understand this character's uh inner conflict. I can understand this character's outer conflict. And sometimes the conflict is not just with themselves. Sometimes it's like man versus man. And I did a whole podcast episode about like the different types of conflicts that that people can have, and how we can implement that into like wrestling and stuff like that. But if I look for it, it's gonna take me a little bit longer. But you can definitely tell how excited I am when I talk about writing and writing elements and how that transfers over to wrestling. But yeah, that's why professional wrestling needs writers, because we are your critical thinkers. We are the ones that you come to when you have a problem, and we give you a solution. It may be like a crappy solution, but if you give me your input and we talk about it, and then we could try to find a mutual ground where it makes sense for your character to do X, Y, and Z. Your character, not necessarily you in the real world, but your character, and if it makes sense to do X, Y, and Z, then we could go on from that. Um, I am definitely not the type of writer that would just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks and be like, bam, just go do it. No, we're gonna sit there, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna try to answer every single question that I have, so that way I could put you over, because that is my job, is to put you over. If I can't put you over, then I fucking failed as a writer and I shouldn't be doing it. But yeah, you can definitely tell how passionate I get about writing and wanting to put my degree to use and wanting to help out people. And this is why all I want to do is just talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, and all I want to do is talk about Bullet Club drama and like try to see where this story can go. And if it goes in the wrong direction, I'll definitely be like, well, it should have went in this one because X, Y, and Z. The same way that I was like, Fale should have won because Fale is like the final boss. And like anything, they could have did something unique with this New Japan Cup for 2022, because the Bullet Club storyline is so rich. It's so deep. The other factions in New Japan Pro Wrestling, so like Chaos isn't doing shit. Like, why the fuck Still, Chaos isn't doing shit. We have Hontai. Hontai is not doing shit either. We have Suzuki Gun. Suzuki Gun is doing their own thing, but there's no inner conflict. We have House of Torture. House of Torture is with Bullet Club, and like I said earlier, House of Torture needs to get away from Bullet Club. I think at the end of the New Japan Cup, that's what should happen. If not at the end of the New Japan Cup, it should happen at in May, in Philly. Like New Japan, send Evo over to the States, man. Just do it. Trust me. Um, if you want, I could help out with that. I don't know how, but I could do something. Um, United Empire. I was gonna call them United Kingdom. I'm getting too happy right now. United Empire just got back together as like a complete unit. However, there was no inner turmoil inside, so like they're not really doing anything. The biggest storyline in New Japan Pro Wrestling is Bullet Club. So this is why I get so passionate about it, because this is like a really huge story-driven storyline that I could get behind, and I can actually like break it down for you guys and try to piece it all together. And I get super excited. So this is why I would think New Japan Cup of 2022 should just be story driven, even if it goes against their hometown heroes. I totally get why they have hometown heroes. I really do. But this is money. And New Japan, if you want to make money, you put it on Bullet Club right now. If any of the other teams end up getting internal conflicts, you sort of put money on them too. But this one right here is money. Like, do not leave money on the table, New Japan. Like, don't do it. I wouldn't want you guys to do it. Like, don't leave money on the table. All right. So, Randy says, United Empire is stacked. They are. They are a great unit. I love every single member of the United Empire. Osprey could probably take the cup while Bullet Club fights themselves with Lij. Oh, fights with themselves and with Lij. Are you saying that Bullet Club is fighting with Lij too? What did I miss? Or did you mean that United Empire is fighting with Lij? The only reason why I do not want Osprey to take it is because it wouldn't make any sense. Look, man, I'm gonna push the narrative of that this is a story-driven thing. Osprey does not need the New Japan Cup right now to go after Okada to get the belt back. Like, if Osprey is not gonna present us with anything new, right? If he becomes champion, if he's not gonna present us with anything new, then it doesn't make sense for him to go and get the cup and be the winner and go after Okada. Tama has everything to gain in this because of what happened and because Tama is on that path of proving himself again, even if he feels like maybe like even if he feels like what's the point? Like who does he have to prove it to? One, he has to prove it to Jay. That's about it. He doesn't have to prove it to Bullet Club unless we had Fale versus Tama in the finals. But yeah, see how like my brain goes with certain things. Let's get back to Chase and all of that. This is really what makes me happy and really how like my passion just comes out because this is what I live for. This is really what I live for. Uh okay, why didn't it not show? Okay, I guess I got to read it from here. Um Randy says Bullet Club is going to be distracted with the inner conflict and needing to eliminate Lij. So Bullet Club will be too distracted. Oh, Uh, I I guess. Oh man, okay. I guess I can see it that way. That's because you're thinking Shingo is gonna go over. All right, so uh, all right, so let me go back to this lovely picture, which you guys can see, right? Because we were talking about Chase advancing and stuff like that. And then I got on a tangent of why professional wrestling needs writers, which they obviously do need writers. They need me. They need Marie Shadows. So if you need me, my DMs are open at Marie_Shadows. You know, if you need me, I'm there for you. All right. So sorry that you do not see my cursor at all. You know, you're gonna have to listen to my voice. All right? Listen to my lovely voice. On the right hand side, down at the bottom, we are going to be having Chase versus Tiger Mask. It is no question. Chase is going to advance to the next round. Which, by the way, I want to say that G.O.D got betrayed by Bullet Club just because Chase was, you know, being Bullet Club to G.O.D. How dare you, man? Like, G.O.D cares about you, cares about the team. He's the only one that cares about the situation. And he was like, what happened? Like, what did Jay do? Like, G.O.D is the only one that cares about the situation. And then all of a sudden, fucking Chase had to go and do Bullet Club tactics to G.O.D. Even get G.O.D's defenses down. And I was like, yo, G.O.D got betrayed by Bullet Club. What the fuck? Anyway, Chase is going to advance, right? So in my mind of fantasy booking, originally I was gonna have Shingo go over Loa. You know, nothing against Loa. I love him too. But that was a really hard pick. But then, you know, if we play this out, what happens if we did get Tonga Loa versus Chase Owens in the third round, right? Then that would definitely put pressure on Chase and all of his beliefs and, you know, confirm whether or not he really is going to be on the side of Jay and Fale. That will be great storytelling ability, great storytelling that can move this along a little bit because now is the time to put pressure on certain people, especially if Gato is putting pressure on you know, the foreigners because Jay has a message. And you noticed, oh my god. And you noticed that Gato has not gone to House of Torture to ask them, yo, what team are you on? So, this would be a great storytelling aspect if we can get Loa versus Chase and see what happens. Because it will be nice. It will be interesting and it just helps with story. Fale lost, which was a very important piece of the story that should have never lost. And then you have Chase claiming that wherever Fale goes, he goes. So, you know, why not have Loa versus Chase? And by the way, my freaking restream comments are not like you know, popping up. So Randy said, see where you're going, good stuff. Awesome. Thank you, Randy. Like I said, I live for this. To make story better, to make story that makes sense. I really do like live for this. This is 24/7. So you know, I would want that, but I don't think anyone in New Japan Pro Wrestling is listening to me at the moment. So imagine this also, right? March 13th, which is tomorrow for us. It's already Sunday for Japan. We have Evil versus Tama. And this is going to be hard. This is going to be filled with emotion. This is going to be the match that makes or breaks Tama. The match that makes or breaks this Bullet Club storyline and everything that it's supposed to stand for. I do know that we are going to be on a slow burn when it comes to whatever Tama has planned for Evil. And I am here for the ride. I am here to, you know, still be on Tama's side because the way that the betrayal went down, I am not gonna accept that. That was the most heinous fucking betrayal ever. And you shouldn't be betraying family that brought you in just because Tama got a little mouthy. Tama did say that, he was asking, where's Jay? Jay wasn't in last year's G1. And that, Tama said that, are you going to come protect the throne? If not, Tama's gonna like take the throne and stuff. So maybe that got under Jay White's skin. Maybe it did. Um, and so, this match here is very important, and I would think it's very pivotal for the story to commence, especially having Tama versus Evil. Chase said in his comments that there's always this tension between Tama and Evil, and so now we get it. This isn't the first time that they're meeting. This is quite a few times that they're meeting. But I really hope that Tama picks up the victory. Tama has to pick up the victory. Like I said, this tournament has everything for Tama to gain. I have nothing against anyone else in this tournament. Like, I love them all. They're all great athletes. They all tell great stories. But like I said, Bullet Club right now is the hottest story. And if you don't want to lose money, you put your money on Bullet Club to tell you a really good story. So I have Tama advancing over Evil because, like I said, he needs it. Now imagine if somehow Chase uh, gets a victory over Loa. If Chase gets a victory over Loa, then we could probably see a Chase versus Tama matchup. And that would be amazing because again, it has to reaffirm Chase's comments on commentary. If Chase is going to stand by Fale, and if Chase is going to stand by July 7th, 2018, this is the match, like, maybe needs to happen to right that wrong and to really get back at Tama, because if it's been bothering him since 2018, why not do it at the New Japan Cup? You know, to right that wrong. If you did not like go to him and be like, "Hey, what the fuck was that? Why did you do a tongue and twist to me?" Which, keeping something for that long, that grudge for that long, is not healthy, not healthy at all. And um, so yeah, I think it'll be interesting if Chase went the distance and fought Tama and obviously lost to Tama. That'll be interesting. Or if Loa ends up fighting Tama. Like, I don't know why they put Loa and Tama in the same bracket side. But then again, if they put them on the other side, like, it's tricky. This is a very tricky thing, and it's like trying to make sure the spider web doesn't break. And this is what it's happening. I also do have here, what happens if Shingo goes all the way to meet Tama? That would be his toughest challenge for the New Japan Cup, and that would be even more story driven because Shingo seems like the type of guy to enjoy that kind of redemption story that Tama has right now. Shingo is the type of guy that wants to see your inner dragon, your inner fire, your inner ambition, and that's what Tama has. Tama has that dragon, that fire, that ambition. So, why not? Why not for Tama to go all the way through to the finals and for that? But this is just me fantasy booking here, and this is what I love to do. As you can see, for everyone that's listening to this via audio, I do have like Osprey in the finals going after Tama. Maybe that could be a matchup, and then Okada versus Fale if Fale would have went the distance, or I have Fale versus Tama, and then the obvious one that Okada versus Tama, and then Tama becomes champion and challenges Okada and gets the belt off of Okada, because regardless, Tama has that victory over Okada, and that definitely gives him the advantage to be next in line to get the belt. But yeah, um this is answering Randy's thing about, Chase going over Tiger Mask in the New Japan Cup, and then me just again talking about my fantasy booking, because again we don't have very much information to go on. But yeah, I have been streaming for close to like an hour and 12 minutes. Um, I want to take a mini break. And then right after the break, we'll talk about El Phantasmo and his inner conflict and his amazing match against Osprey and how that plays into all this Bullet Club drama. Um, and then, yeah, I think that's about it. I don't have anything new, any more new information. We know how everything played out. I mean, we could talk about the interview, we could do that. Um, yeah, we're probably gonna do that. Um, yeah, my thing is not working. Randy says Sunday's a major point. Agreed. Tiger Mask versus Chase, and then Loa versus Shingo, and then yeah, and then Evil versus Tama. Um, so I will be taking a just quick break. Make sure to get up and stretch for a little bit, relax for a little bit. But I'll be back in a couple minutes. All right. I hope you guys had a wonderful little mini stretch break. I don't want to keep you guys here a little too long. So the last two things that we're going to talk about is El Phantasmo and how he fits into this whole Bullet Club drama, and just stuff that I was thinking about that pertains to his character and his inner conflict right now. So I am a little cold just because it's freaking snowing outside. So yeah, I could feel, whatever. Um, so oh, and then after that we'll talk about the Tama interview, because that shit is amazing. So first things first, El Phantasmo is an amazing guy, and he got brought in. Oh, what did they say on the commentary? Fuck. Well, he got brought into Bullet Club. Okay, so Osprey had brought in El Phantasmo into New Japan Pro Wrestling, but instead of joining Osprey, when I think Osprey was part of Chaos still, everything seems like so far away, man. Such a long time ago. So he thought that Osprey was going. No, sorry, Osprey thought El Phantasmo was going to be, I guess with him and Chaos, but he joined Bullet Club, and ever since he joined Bullet Club, he basically like cheats and does rakes his fingers across the back of people and stuff. However, when you eliminate the other Bullet Club members, the other Bullet Club influencers, you tend to, shine. Uh, Today, during New Japan Cup, it was El Phantasmo versus Osprey, and El Phantasmo shined in that match. He is a fantastic wrestler, and he is amazing in the ring. So is Osprey. It was a very nice match. Really good back and forth. Of course, El Phantasmo over maybe the past months, ever since he got exposed about having a metal plate in his boot. Um, so, he no longer does sudden death, which is just a super kick. And so in this match, they really played that up where, El Phantasmo was going to go for the sudden death. But Osprey just looks at him and yells not really yells at him, but, mouth off to him about, do it. We want you to do it. Like, why are you not doing the sudden death? Everybody, including Osprey, including Bullet Club, they have been on El Phantasmo's back about why he doesn't want to do, the sudden death move. And this is something that plays into his inner conflict because if he's not confident in this move anymore, that's why he doesn't really do it. He tries. He tries to get over the mental hurdle of it, but he just really can't. In this match, he doesn't really hit it. I think Osprey decided to like mock him, and like I think he hit his own. Um, like super kick to El Phantasmo. But regardless, unfortunately, El Phantasmo, lost the match against Osprey. What I think is going to happen is that because everybody keeps um asking El Phantasmo, "Hey, why are you not using the super kick?" and then people have to pick up the slack. You realize that you're doing more work than he is, so you're gonna keep going after him and keep nagging him, and eventually, I think he's gonna be the first person to go back to the United States and be with Jay White, the Good Brothers, and Chris Bay, doing the American tour, just because he will probably feel like he wants to be valued, and he was valued before he got exposed. So mentally that probably fucks with you. Like, if we're gonna break this journey down, he won multiple matches, whether it's tag team matches or singles matches, with the Bullet Club help, plus the sudden death, and then finally being exposed as the person that cheated to win this whole time. That kind of like fucked with him mentally. So I just think that everybody getting on him, including Chase, to be like, "Hey, why didn't you kick it? Why didn't you kick Honma when you had the chance? I had to step up, blah, blah, blah." All of that is probably going to push him away. And it's probably going to have him go to the States, wrestle there, gain some value. Because another thing, too, is that he's been trying to tell New Japan Pro Wrestling that he wants to be included into the heavyweight division. I guess he's trying to bulk up. He really looked good in this match. Um, like physical appearance wise, he looked good. But I think that his value would raise if he were to go to the States and try to figure things out and try to create a new move, and not necessarily be the cheating part of the member of the Bullet Club, and do things the right way. You could still be a heel and give great freaking matches. You just don't have to like cheat sometimes, if that makes sense. So Phantasmo's inner conflict is a really, really good one. It shows you the progression of what it means to have a character that starts out with he's super confident, super cocky, because he knows that he has something illegal in his boot. But the running storyline is that he has been training in Canada and kicking maple trees in order to get his heel, the foot of his heel, that strong and that powerful. So, it makes sense. And then all of a sudden hit a bump in the road where you get exposed, and that shit brings down your confidence. So if any wrestler out there wants to, study a really good character development, you study El Phantasmo. That's what you do. Just because of how his character over time changed, and it was a really, really good change. Um, that's what happens. So other than that, that's what I think. He hasn't really said much to begin with. A lot of people haven't really said much, so that's all I could go on. Okay. The last thing that I want to talk about is the the promo. It's not the promo. The New Japan interview that um, Chris Charlton did with Tama. Um, which I'm trying to find it on my Twitter. There it is. Uh, I don't know how I'm going to talk about this, but just seeing the mini interview that they put up, the video package, you could definitely tell that even though Tama is extremely upset, and Tama is basically like trying to understand everything the same way that we're trying to understand everything, because again, we were all left in the dark. Like there is no like I have no sources or nothing to like give you guys or anything like that. And by the way, I do not consider myself part of the wrestling media, even though like I cover professional wrestling. Um, Wrestling media is just really, really like toxic, gatekeeping, and nobody really wins. Everybody wants to be first in breaking news, but what I want to do is share my passion for wrestling. I totally forgot I have that. That means
underscore Rob underscore W is now following.
Hey, thank you for following the channel. That thing, that bell, like fucking scared the shit out of me. You can hear it in my voice, right? You can hear it in my voice. Um, what is your name? Hey, is this Aussie Lucian? um, if it is, I really don't remember your name being Rob. I really don't. Oh my god. Uh anyway, yeah, thanks for that follow. I might have to like change up the sound just because I don't know. That thing like spooked me. Uh for those of you listening to this on audio, basically I have a new follower. So yeah, that's what it was. All right, so back to deciphering this wonderful interview that Chris Charlton did with Tama. Yeah, in that video package, you could definitely hear in Tama's voice that he doesn't really know what's next. And oh yeah, I was talking about wrestling media and how they're like toxic and yeah. Um, what I do consider myself is a writer, is an analyst, and I could break down professional wrestling like no other. That is what I do, and that is what I love. So yeah, um, I still cover professional wrestling, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, breaking news, guys. This is what happened when it could be like a fucking lie, like we've been seeing over the past month. Anyway, so um this interview is basically written up, right? Let me see if I can find something good. There was so I think it's true, and definitely a true sentiment when Thomas says in this interview that you know uh about the chase between G.O.D and the Good Brothers, because we were all focusing on that. Like there was nothing different. We all wanted, to see that happen. We all wanted the Good Brothers to go down and be defeated by God. But I think that Tama is right when he said that Jay saw an opening and that that blindsided him, and nobody was prepared for that. But that's what Jay does. Jay does amazing things, because he knows how to strike when the moment is right and hot, and you know what's the word I'm looking for here? Jay basically strikes when your guard is down, and that's what really happened. Too much focusing on the Good Brothers allowed Jay White to get in there and basically like destroy God from the inside. If that makes any sense. other than that, let's see. Um, and then him saying that he's at a standstill, like you could feel that in the video. You could definitely feel that in the video. Um, the thing here is that when Thomas asks about, like, when they brought Jay into the Bullet Club, they brought him in after they kicked out the Elite. And then they saw him as, someone that they can definitely mold into the top position, and I could definitely understand that. Um, you know, Jay White being in Bullet Club was a very good thing for him and good for Bullet Club all around. Like they really made the right decision. But like I said earlier in this podcast, that I really think that after um I think after uh Thomas said the little things that he said, and Jay feeling maybe not satisfied enough, he was just like, oh, that's it. I want to do something different. It's time to uh you know take matters into his own hands. And I think that the writing was on the wall ever since Jay was saying that, this is the real Bullet Club, this is the real era, and it has nothing to do with, the Elite and the Good Brothers. But I'm not sure if they're going to tie all that in to like this. Maybe they should. Maybe they should. Um, the other thing too is that this is a little bit different just because, Jay wasn't straight up in the face of Tama saying that, hey, I'm going to destroy everything from the inside out. You have something that I want, so I'm going to take it. It's different from him doing that to Okada. So this is why this is a little bit more different. It hits different. It feels different. I don't know if any fan out there can say they felt the same way with this when it came to Jay betraying Okada. Let's see. Uh, okay. Um, Tama does go on to say that realized that he was falling off, meaning Jay, that he wasn't at the level in the business that he was 2, 3 years ago. I think he felt threatened by me, to be honest. He wasn't here in the G1 last year, and a lot of us had to step up. I stepped up to control, and he saw that. He saw as well as he saw as well that I was upset with how he handled things last year and how he thought that he had to do something about it. So I'll give him that much. He caught me by surprise. He got one up on me. Um yeah, I totally agree with that. That if you're not being careful, of course everybody in a group is gonna have their egos and is gonna have their days where things are not gonna make sense, things are not gonna be right. But at the end of the day, if everyone in Bullet Club is supposed to be family, you could just talk it out. If Jay really did have something, you know, bothering him, why not contact Tama and be like, yo, let's talk about this. Like, what's really happening here? But does Jay ever do that? No. Jay is more like, what his moniker is, that he's the switchblade and that you breathe with the switchblade. Like, if he really doesn't like something, he's going to let you know via freaking stabbing you in the back, betraying you. But yeah, like I said, Jay is such a polarizing figure that, reading this interview with Tama basically like still sort of breaks my heart just because of like, it's really weird that, Jay will be the one to be like, yo, what side are you on? When not too long ago, before they recruited him, Tama was asking people, what side are you on? Because they had Kenny versus Cody in this fucking Civil War shit. So I think this is kind of like interesting. I'm gonna have to think more about it. I didn't think about it that way. The only reason why I thought about it this way, it's because Chris had asked Tama, and he says, I'm quoting from the article. Backstage at Anniversary, Gato spoke backstage to El Fantasmo, Taiji Ishimori, and Bad Luck Fale. He relayed a message from Jay White saying, "What side are you on?" Right? So, like, I'm just gonna stop it there for that. That's what Tama was doing when we had the first civil war between Kenny and Cody. So, you know, to now have Jay being like, "What side are you on?" This is interesting because the reasoning for um Tama and the firing squad to kick out the elite along with Cody is because they got too big for the group. The spotlight was always on them and it wasn't on the group itself. And which I find kind of weird if we want to like sort of compare it. Um this is very similar, where I guess Bullet Club in Japan, I don't know if they weren't getting as much. Hmm, I don't know. Okay, hold on. I gotta think about this. Right now, I'm a little cold and I don't want to put on the damn sweater. So that's why I'm having a hard time thinking about this. Um, yeah, I got nothing. I might have to save this for the next one. But I do find it interesting that not too long ago, before they got Jay White, Tama was doing the same thing for the Civil War between Kenny and Cody. Even though Kenny and Cody were doing it too, of like, yo, what side are you on? But that really didn't include Bullet Club Japan fully, you know. And then this one here is all like Jay is now telling people what side are you on, you know. I just think that's very funny in the storytelling element that I'm gonna have to think about it more. So yeah, I'm probably gonna dive into that into another podcast episode for that. Just because, I freaking love storytelling. Um yeah, now the code is getting to me. Um and then, Tama telling Chris that he has not been in touch with them at all. Um and obviously we know that the right choice is Tama. We know that that's the right choice. Uh, okay. Um, and then freaking Tama with him saying that him holding the gold, right? Because I was saying before that if Tama, no, when Tama wins the New Japan Cup, he's going to face Okada. He's going to get the belt, and that's going to anger Jay White even more. And then we're going to see this whole thing explode into something really good and something really great. But yeah, you guys should definitely read the interview. The interview is amazing. Chris Charlton did a very great job of it. And so, uh, yeah, um, he really does, and I think this came out this came out like yesterday. Uh, there's an interesting thing where Chris asked him about, if Tom has anything to express to Fale. And Thomas says, "We're family. That's blood. So you already know what the right choice is. We shouldn't even have to speak about this. We started together day one here. So you know what the right choice is, Fale. That's why if they would have went with Fale going over in the New Japan Cup, that would have made Chase Owens' comments that much better, that much stronger. And then Fale doesn't have to say anything until we get to the finals and it's Fale versus Tama as like the final boss. Because again, you got to think of this as a journey for Tama to get a redemption story. And you guys might be like, upset with redemption stories, tired of redemption stories, but they are the best stories that make the most money because you're rooting for the one that got burned. Tama definitely got burned in this. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, he got burned. And so him facing his ultimate challenge, which would be Fale, because Fale is an OG and probably the only way to get back into Bullet Club, to have some type of stability into Bullet Club, you go through Fale.
You don't go through Jay. You don't go through the Good Brothers. They have no fucking power over this whole thing. They really don't. And I really think that the people in Bullet Club should probably like stand up and be like, bro, you didn't make Bullet Club. You're just here. You got into it because you were the right fit. That doesn't mean that you go and do it by yourself, because if that's the case, get out of Bullet Club and just be like Jay White. That's it. Not associated with any other, faction or club, because Jay really does think about himself rather than thinking of the team. You know, that's the whole thing of Bullet Club, is to think about the team. Everyone was equal. So Fale should have the last say into like anything that Jay wants to do, but nothing has been questioned, nothing has been confronted, and I think that that's what we're missing. We're missing that tension between everybody. Just because there's really not much going on. There's not much story happening yet. But like I said, everything's gonna be a slow burn, and I'm gonna have to accept it. But I'm not saying to like give me the full story now. Give me enough so that way I can talk about it. Maybe suggest some like changes or who knows, whatever, and then like present it to everyone here that's watching this or listening to this on your favorite podcast episode, your favorite podcast platform. But this is probably going to be your favorite podcast episode. Um, yeah, so that's what I think about the whole entire thing. I really do think that New Japan Pro Wrestling missed a really key storytelling element just because they wanted to keep Tanahashi as the face, as the golden boy for, the hope and the light in this COVID situation and stuff. And I think that you shouldn't be missing things when, there's money left on the table. Um, but yeah, uh, I had fun with this. I really don't know what else to talk about. I don't want to go in circles. That's about it for me. So what I'm gonna do is um basically play us out. You're gonna hear my voice. You're gonna see that the stream is ending because uh you know I have nothing else to talk about. Um I don't want to go in circles. I gave you guys all new information about, um, about New Japan Pro Wrestling. And if you guys just got here, I am super sorry. But you guys will catch me tomorrow. I'm thinking about streaming the New Japan game, which I've been playing, but I want to play for you guys because, you guys are the best by coming here and helping me out and just listening to me talk. So I really do have fun playing the New Japan Strong Spirits game, and you know Tanahashi threw his hat in to be the ambassador for Japan. I want to be the ambassador for America. Hell, I just want to be the ambassador for New Japan Pro Wrestling because right now that's like the best pro wrestling around, and that's one of my favorite companies, and I just really love what they do, no matter what. Um, but yes, like I said, you are listening to the voice of Marie Shadows. So every time the stream ends, it basically shows who follows. So if you guys, um, want to follow me, you guys can, you guys should, so that you never miss an update. You never miss a notification when I go live talking about professional wrestling. Like I said, this is what I love to do. I wake up every single day and I could talk about wrestling. I make content, whether that is me writing articles. I have some articles over at ko-fi.com/Marie_shadows. And I have, my podcast episodes over at anchor.fm/Square Circle Podcast. And also on YouTube, youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. And then right here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Marie_shadows. I am super active over on Twitter at Marie_shadows. So, you guys can follow me wherever you want. Yes, I do have a Discord. If you want to know about the Discord, message me on Twitter. If you guys want, well, I mean, Yeah, I was gonna be like, if you guys don't want my Instagram, I'm thinking of making an Instagram. So, stay tuned for that. The best place to reach me is definitely on Twitter. My DMs are open if you ever want to talk about wrestling or anything like that. I really do hope that you guys um, tend to enjoy this episode and just, see my knowledge of like what I bring to the table when it comes to talking about stories about this, because this is really something that I love. And I know I've been saying that this whole entire time, but I love what I do. And yeah, and I love each and every one of you guys. I really do. Everyone that has come by the stream, said hello. Randy was amazing, amazing chatter in the stream, and anybody that's lurking, that's really great. Um, so yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the stream. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, and I will see you guys on the next one. You have been listening to an episode of the Square Circle Podcast. I am your host, Marie Shadows, and I'll see you guys on the next one.